Hey, Internet, my name is Bobby, and with me is Chase. And if you give us about 15 minutes for a quick look at Deep Rock Galactic Survivor, we'll help you decide if it's worth your time. Chase, you are in for a treat, my friend.
Am I?
I think so. You like Vampire Survivor. I like Deep Rock Galactic. This is probably the best marriage we can make.
I like danger. I like darkness.
Do you like dwarves?
Iffy on dwarves. I'm a little iffy on dwarves.
And I think in general, you're a little iffy on Deep Rock. Just the loop there. You appreciate it from a distance, right?
Yeah, I've watched you and our other co-host Johnny play the original Deep Rock Galactic.
Arguably one of the biggest staples of the Casual Friday.
When you play the game you say you're going to play, yeah, absolutely.
That's very true.
I have not played Deep Rock. But you did say Vampire Survivors, and I have played plenty of that. So
yes,
I'm looking forward to seeing more about what Deep Rock Galactic Survivor is.
You might have to wait a little bit to play it where you want to play it, but if you give it some time to cook, I think it'll show up there.
Yeah, so this is in early access, right?
It is. It just came out in early access.
Yeah, early access, Steam, Windows PC, came out Valentine's Day of 2024.
Hot.
Developed by Fun Day Games. Great name. But
yeah, it's very cool.
Have they said like a roadmap with early access? Like
I haven't seen one.
This to come out.
They've got two. Outside of Deep Rock Galactic, they've got two other spinoffs in that world. This is the first one, and the other one seems to be like a first-person shooter, kind of like a rogue. I guess it's like a roguelike also. From what I'm hearing, it sounds cool, but. Okay. So far on this one, they've got 3 areas to get to. I've unlocked the second one. I haven't done a whole lot there. We're going to keep this pretty vanilla. We're going to go with the first area. I've only got it on the first difficulty here. But I have unlocked all the dwarf classes that you can have. You start with the scout. That's what we're going to play with today. But they have the gunner, which these are the 4 classes from mainline Deep Rock Galactic. I've probably had the most with the scout and the gunner, and you unlock the other classes just by leveling up the class before it. So we're going to go with the scout, and we're going to start with the deep core GK2. Eventually I'll be able to unlock this to where I'll start with a better weapon, but we'll just start with him and get into it. So Deep Rock Galactic is all about going down into a mine, getting the resources, and once you achieve the resources that you need, you extract from the mine. And here, it's kind of a similar thing. You got the swarms that come up. If you look at the upper part of the screen, you're going to see a timeline going. And much like games in this genre, which I don't know what we call it. Johnny tried to call it Bullet Heaven, which I think was not right.
It's close. I mean,
yeah.
like Bullet Heaven is a little bit different. I mean, it can fit some of these games, but like Bullet Heaven is more like you're the one shooting all the bullets. Which you are here.
Yeah.
It's I think it's easier to just call it a Vampire Survivors at this point.
I think
it's like
sure.
It's like a Dark Souls. I think it's taken on that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, like some kind of roguelike survival thing. Yeah.
So you always get 3 options and a chance to re-roll. You're collecting 2 upgradable currencies. You get gold and you get nitra. Nitra's the red one there. So you have kind of an incentive to go and mine more. You also will have an option after each run to upgrade stuff for the next portion of the run. So here, if you move through it at the bottom of the screen, you're going to see your weapon slots. And as you go over the reward, it'll show you what weapon will get upgraded. So I'm going to go with the body shots because this is increasing damage across all of our weapons. So as I unlock more, they're all going to get that. But like right now, I could increase the fire rate or the reload speed of the weapon we have equipped. When we hit level 5, we'll get a second one. I'm going to go ahead and grab this. And then I'm going to keep moving. So again, I'm not shooting. It's doing it automatically. There are all the same bugs that you would expect from Deep Rock showing up here. Common, uncommon, rare, epic, legendary. That's all here. I typically go with whatever's the highest rarity. And in this case, having a reload speed is going to be nice for our gun that we have currently.
Yeah, but that only works with the gun you have currently. So your plan, not saying that you're doing it wrong, but like your plan of, hey, we're going to unlock another gun, and that's why we took the damage up on the first one. Now we are taking one for this specific gun.
Yep.
But the one we got before works with all guns, so it
yep.
makes sense.
And also, the different classes have some trade-offs. Scout is going to be pretty general across the board. I can increase our HP. I don't think I'm going to do it right now just for the sake of this quick look. I'll keep putting into our current weapon because I don't know how much we're going to unlock while we're hanging out here. So the supply beacon...
Fire rate is also just so good in these games.
It's huge.
You see, you're just getting hordes of enemies here, and being able to just put out more damage faster is a godsend.
So we also have places to heal, which is exactly how it is in the game. This ore there, that will get you more health. We're doing good there right now. I'm looking for the supply beacon, and if you look in the upper left-hand corner, you'll see me expanding the map as we explore it. The supply beacon we just hit at the quarter point of our timeline. We're about to get our first swarm. I'm also picking up the Apoca Blooms, which are going to get me a bonus objective, which is exactly like how the runs in Deep Rock go. So now it's getting a little spicy because we have a swarm going. I'm going to sneak through them there. And now we get our second weapon. The M1000 Classic, in my opinion, is arguably the best weapon in the game. It does a piercing bullet, so you're just going to shoot a very high projectile through a big swarm of people. So we're going to grab that one. And that will just start to melt through all these hordes and hit everybody behind each enemy.
So that weapon is working in tandem with
correct
the other weapon you have. Okay.
Yeah. So once you get the other weapons, and that's the thing. Like, yes, I upgraded my overall damage, and I put some stuff into our first gun. You will have 4 weapons going simultaneously as you level up. So you're not replacing one of those weapons. You're just adding different things to it. So like one of the other weapons might give me a 4-way shot. Another one might be like a shotgun spread. Another one could be a grenade. So it kind of depends on what you're going for. There is elemental, electricity, fire, and ice so far. That's going to be damage. So I've upgraded speed, reload on this. Damage is the next thing. So that should be a 20% in total better damage that we're doing with that weapon now. And that's our main weapon. So I'm going to go ahead and let that ride and keep looking for this supply beacon because that's going to get me an artifact as we're going through this here. But you also want, like, once we get the main objective, which is pretty close here, we're going to take out a boss, or a sub-boss, I should say. And that's going to be our clearance to go down one more level. So that should be firing off here in a second. They'll just show up out of nowhere. And then now that bar is full, there's the beacon too, we will start to see the enemies get stronger the longer you stay here not taking out the main one. But what I'm going to do is a little cheese move here, which is if I can clear this out, and I'm going to try and kite them around it a bit, that main boss can get pretty much one shot by the drop pod. So we're going to work on that as soon as I can. So that's getting full by me being in this circle long enough. And there he goes. He's dead.
You're almost dead too.
I know. We'll make it. I'm going to add 15% damage to that gun, and then I will get out of here. Another fire rate on the good one is rare. And reload speed across all weapons will be very helpful. So we're going to cruise through here. Oh, look, we got an epic one. So all kinetic damage, what happens to be what we're doing, is now going to get even better of an upgrade there. So I'm going to use the mining to my advantage to get around this horde because we're almost dead. And
so when it says get to the drop pod and is having this timer, if you don't get to it in time, are you just dead?
You're just dead.
Okay.
And
that's cool, giving you like some more urgency.
And that's exactly how the missions end in Deep Rock 2. Once that's down, you have to and you could be down multiple levels. So I got 71 of the gold. Ooh, there's a legendary here. We don't have quite enough for it. But what I'm going to do is heal really quick. I'll go ahead and do that twice and just get healthy again for this next part of it. You kind of get the idea of what we're doing here now, right? You have any questions so far about like what may be different or what I'm doing here?
I don't have questions exactly, but I guess for people who are not familiar with the original Deep Rock, what is that game and why is this? I think the really cool thing about this game is how it takes the things from the original Deep Rock and incorporates it into a new genre. But like, what for people who don't know what Deep Rock is, what is the original Deep Rock?
The original Deep Rock is a extraction loot based game. You drop down as first person. It is a PvE cooperative up to 4 players, and you are dealing with a lot of the same things that you're seeing here. Swarms of bugs while you're trying to get the objectives for the mission. And honestly, the objectives have been the same. Here we have to get Morkite. That's like the bread and butter missions of Deep Rock Galactic. Once you have enough Morkite, you can satisfy that requirement. The thing that's floating around me right now, that little drone, there is a oh shit, there we go. There is this kind of beacon that you can call in. Also, there's I guess it's like a shuttle robot that you're putting all those resources into. So you're calling that for all 4 people, and once you fill up that, you'll either have a boss encounter or you'll have an extraction, and you get out and you're leveling up your gear, just like we're doing here. So you only get certain weapons when you get to a certain level in Deep Rock, and that really allows you to start to do a lot more damage, do a little bit more high stakes missions. It's uncanny how much there's a parallel here in the formula of Deep Rock and the formula of Vampire. It works very, very well.
So one of the things you keep mentioning with the original Deep Rock is being a collaborative experience, being something that you play co-op. Does this have co-op?
It doesn't, and I think, like, I know Vampire Survivor added it. This would be really great for 4 people, I think, but I don't know how chaotic that would get. Especially having the other classes, there's really no reason not to have that here. We're going to do fire rate again. Just increase that.
Yeah, I wonder if that's something they might talk about in their early access roadmap or something. Because, I mean, it does feel like that's the only missing thing here.
100%.
When I think about Deep Rock, I think about, that's the game that you play with other people. And and this being solo is a little bit odd.
It is. It's very strange.
It's less odd for this genre of game. There aren't a ton of games that do this. Vampire does have a co-op, but most of them are just a single player experience. So it kind of makes sense that this one is also just doing the single player thing. But
the other thing that's kind of strange about it, is that I'm not really progressing the objective time is on this one. So that's like you're literally just surviving, which is in the title of the game. And so I feel like I can go and get the Morkite, which I'm not doing right now, and that's fine. But I'm not doing a whole lot besides just letting that bar fill up and then addressing that bar, which is what we're going to end up doing here. So Morkite takes a lot longer to get, as you can see. That's one of the reasons why I wasn't messing with it. But we'll get more damage here. I'm going to go ahead and just quit out of this run so I can show you a little bit more about that. How do I actually quit out of that?
Why don't you just let yourself get murdered?
Okay, easy enough.
That's more fun. That's more fun, just to watch the bugs kill you. So you mentioned something about better guns when we started. Does this game have like persistence? Where
it does. That's why I wanted to show you that kind of element of it really quick, because I think that's one of the more important things on games like this. Is it's not what you do on the run, it's like what sticks with it. So on this screen, you'll get a weapons report, which is what you get when you play the main game of Deep Rock. You'll also see what kind of damage you put out. So honestly, I didn't know that there's acid or plasma. I only called out electric, cold, and fire. So we didn't know elemental. We just focused on the kinetic. And then the resources that we got, those are more the persistent ones. So we got Magnite and we got Jadis. And we also went up in our Scout XP rank. So I think level 10 is the cap here. I might be wrong, but I think I am wrong, because you can prestige in the real game. Not the real game, the other game. But upgrades this is the persistent thing I wanted to talk to you about. So you've got a mineral market, which is just like the main game. And then here, these are persistent things that you can put resources into for your run. So I've increased my reload speed across all characters by 8%. Now, I could come down here with my money and I could buy minerals. So my money stays with me that I've acquired on these runs, but if I get those minerals, they come down here as well. So you can see at the top, if I wanted to get this to 10%, I only needed, 2 more of these? 3 more of these? So I could buy those. And I went down on my money, but now I can increase either my damage, which would go to 20, or I could do my reload speed, which goes to 10. I'm probably going to do damage. And now I've upgraded that to 20%. So I'm doing 20% more damage across all channels now.
So I'm always of two minds on those kind of systems. Like the RPG gamer in my brain says, yeah, love to see the numbers go up. Love to see my efforts being rewarded and getting progress on something. But then there's the kind of purist in my brain that
Yeah,
goes, this is a roguelike. The whole point is that you lose all your shit and you go back and it's kind of like an arcade experience. And I don't know where I fall on these systems. Like
sure.
in some games, like Vampire Survivors or even this, it makes total sense that you continue upgrading things. It's nice that you can start off with a more powerful character than you started with the very first time you loaded it up. But we've also talked about a game like Hades, which I love, absolutely love Hades. But it got to the point of, man, I really loved Hades my first handful of runs because they were, 15, 20-minute runs. And then once I played a lot of Hades and unlocked a lot of stuff, now every run was taking an hour and a half, and it became a different game at that point where I wasn't just sitting down for a quick fun piece of action. It was, oh, I'm trying to beat the game again because that game you need to beat it 10 times. It's like, Jesus Christ, this isn't exactly what I signed up for. It's a different kind of fun, but it's not the fun that I thought it was to begin with. And I think these games are have less of a problem with that.
Oh, sure.
Because it ramps up so much faster. But it is still something that I find interesting how developers choose whether to put persistence in the roguelikes or not.
I agree with it for sure. I think one of the other things that's interesting is this is the like milestones. This is how you upgrade shit. Well, outside of here, like these are like more of your persistent things, but the gear that you would get here, you can see that I got the BLT ration pack because I reached 300 max HP, and I got that by upgrading my health on a run.
When you say get that, does that mean it's unlockable in a run now, or you have to have it?
Yep, it'll be in the run. So these are things that can show up in there. So like the weapons, I've got this corrosive sludge pump. Whenever we get to like level 5 or 15 or 24, I can't remember what it was, that will show up as a weapon that we can get. Before that wasn't something that we could get at the time.
Yeah, and those systems, I think like that has like a middle ground, and I think of a game like Dead Cells that does a lot of that, where you're unlocking the ability to find these things in your next run. So you are kind of upgrading yourself, but you still do get the pure experience of I'm starting the game fresh. It's just that I have more options available to me, and those options can make me more powerful than the options I had when I started.
And this is kind of a nice place to start. If you're like, okay, what do I want to do? I don't want to play this game. I don't have a big objective. Maybe you open this tab up and you're like, okay, I need a new artifact. Am I close to any of these? Okay, this one here. Like I need 2000 nitra. So I'm going to just focus my runs rather than progressing to the end of it to get as much nitra as I can. And that's going to get me the powder that I would get over here on this one. So it kind of gives me a purpose on, hey, I don't really care if I extract all the way. I'm just here to get this pop-up tripod. So I need to get 15,000 alien kills while standing still. So I want a class. At that point in time, I would probably come in here. I would go to the caverns, do hazard 1, and I'd grab the gunner. Because the gunner's got like a really wide range and a persistent attack that happens that I could just stand still. He's also the tankiest start, because you can see his health is at 160, where the engineer's 130, the driller's 145. But if I needed to get that nitra, I'm taking the driller, because you can see he doesn't have a whole lot of weapons with him, but he can get through all the mining super fast. So that's where the class trade-off comes. It's like, what are you trying to objectively do on this run versus I just need somebody new. So
that totally makes sense.
It's really well done. For being early access, it doesn't feel early access. I don't know how many people that will really stick to, but Deep Rock Galactic Survivor is another bona fide hit. I'm thrilled for him. Like I love Deep Rock Galactic. The other thing that we didn't talk about on our show or podcast or on here, it sounds like there's a TV show in the works. They've been approached.
Oh, really?
Yeah, okay. like it's just kind of blowing up in a big way. I mean, it's been blowing up. They also have a tabletop game that people adore too. If I had time and my friends had time, that might be something I would explore. But Chase, as I mentioned, we do talk about video games here quite a bit. You, me, and Johnny get together on Wednesdays at 9, where we talk about games on our podcast, The Casual Hour. You and I play games together on Monday nights, and Johnny and I play games on Friday, but you sometimes pop around, and he'll pop around on both of those nights. You can find the three of us, or at least some version of the three of us, live Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9 p.m. Central on Twitch and YouTube. And then we put quick looks like this one up usually twice a week, and you can find those right here on YouTube, which we would love for you to hang out, tell us what you like and what you enjoy. Chase, is there anything that I've shown you today that would make you consider playing a game like this?
Yeah, maybe. Like it seems like they've got the fundamentals down. This is a really solid foundation, and I'm interested to see how they continue building upon it during their early access. I think this is one of these situations where I would wait until the game comes out of early access before I start to pick it up. But I like a lot of what they're doing here. I would play this before I play the original Deep Rock. Just
I kind of figured
a little bit more in my wheelhouse.
I kind of figured. Yeah, totally. Well, I'm sure we'll be talking about this game a little bit more on some of our other outlets. So if you are enjoying what we have to say, please find a way to hang out with us either live or on our podcast. Chase, as always, thanks for hanging out. And Deep Rock Galactic Survivor is a thumbs up from me. So check it out, everybody.